Hi, I'm Erigibo, erigibo.com, and today I'm going to show you this Fujifilm X70. Thanks to Photosura for lending it to me so I can test it for you. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/erigibo, my website erigibo.com. If you have any question, you can send me an email to info@erigibo.com. Okay, let's start. This is a special compact camera because it has an APS-C sensor. Okay, I'm going to take my notes because there is a lot to tell about this camera. I know that some people got a bit upset when I did the review about the XproO 2 because I said it was not very easy to handle, but I don't want to stress a point on the fact that I never criticized the image quality. I think the image quality of Fujifilm is a great quality, and I didn't like the way to use the XproO 2, okay? But it was my opinion. I'm very happy that some people like it, some other also dislike it, but my review are based on my opinion. I understand that it may be different, you may have a different opinion, but it's not personal, it's just my opinion, and you don't have to believe me. You can test the camera yourself and make your own opinion, okay? So let's speak about this wonderful camera. By the way, people started to think I was against Fujifilm. I remind you that I did a review about the X-T1, the X-T10, the X30, and all three I spoke really well about them, and it was just the XproO 2 I was not convinced, okay? So let's go back to this one. So this is an APS-C sensor, which is great because Fujifilm says it will get a better quality this way, and I must say it's true. I mean, it is this is more than a compact camera. This is a wonderful little camera. Okay, one thing, the lens is a fixed focal lens of 18mm in APS-C, which means the equivalent of 28mm in a full frame camera. It opens at 2.8 and closes at f16. It's not that bright, that luminous, but I think it's enough. But it's true that there are also some compact camera with 2.0 or 1.7 also. It's a fixed focal lens, but there is a digital kind of zoom. It's not like a zoom, like a progressive zoom. It's like you can be on 35 and 50mm, not just 28. But then it's not optical, it's digital, okay? But it's great because you're doing some street photography and then you want to make a portrait. You can move on to 50mm. You press this you can turn this button here, okay? This small ring here, and then you would get to 50mm. Okay, so this is great. This is a 16 megapixel sensor. I know that many people think it's not too much. I think it's not fair to say that because for years and years we were about 12 million pixels or 16 million pixels on reflex. Everyone was happy, but then someone started with 32, 36, 40 megapixels, and everyone thinks this is rubbish. And this is not rubbish at all. It all depends what you need to do. And I guarantee with 16 megapixels you can really enlarge some pictures. And if you want to have a photography really large, you can always use a plugin in Photoshop to blow it up, okay, to make it a lot larger, okay? This is a 3-inch screen. You cannot swivel, but you can move it this way, okay, like this, and also you can turn it 120 degrees in case you want to do a selfie or you wanted to record yourself, okay? This is touchable screen. You can use it also to review pictures, but also when you're actually making the picture, you can use it just to focus if you want, or also you can focusing and shoot. It just depends on you configure it. This is really handy. I know I use it on the Olympus. I have this, and when I do some macro, somehow I don't want to move because I don't have a tripod with me, and just go and it takes a picture at the same time. This is a great feature. The buttons are really easy to access. Here on the barrel of the lens. By the way, 2.8 allows the lens to be really short, okay? If it was a 1.7 or 2.0, maybe the lens would be a lot larger, okay? Here you can change the aperture from 2.8 to 16, f16. Here you have the speeds. Here you can compensate different stops, up to 3 stops, compensate the light. And if you want to do, for example, aperture priority, you put your speed on A, automatic, and then you fix the aperture you want. The other way around, you can do the aperture automatic and then have a fixed speed, okay? And you have also a button here that says auto, and if you put on auto, the camera is fully automatic and will decide almost everything for you, okay? Here you have the famous quick menu that Fujifilm is so proud of. Of course, it exists something similar on many cameras, and they just call it different. But maybe they were the first one to do it. I don't know. They call it Q menu, okay, which is a quick menu, and it's true you really access quite fast. Okay, don't forget that Fujifilm for years has made film for film cameras, so they still call the emulation of the way the picture looked the same way as the film were called, like Provia, Velvia, Astia. Well, there are 11 types, and you must add also black and white and also sepia. The ISO goes from 200 to 6400 ISO native, okay? But then you can have you can push it amount. You can pull it down to 100 ISO, and then you can push it to 12,800, 25,600, and 51,200. As you can see, as always speaking, I've been passing pictures and movies, so you can have an idea of how the camera works. These are not the best pictures, but just a way to make quick pictures, so you have an idea of how it looks, okay? The ISO at 6400 is quite clean. I must say it is very clean, and then you understand the advantage of working with an APS-C sensor on a compact camera, because if you compare to a mobile phone or a cell phone or many compact camera, they never have 6400 ISO that clean. The shutter, there are 2 shutters. One is a mechanical one that closes at up to 1/4000th of a second, and then you have an electric one of 32,000th of a second, which is brilliant depending on what you need to do. But some people want to do really quick capture. 32,000 is brilliant. You can do up to 8 frames per second with the camera. By the way, it works in RAW and JPEG, obviously, with that quality of camera, but I just said, just in case I forgot about it, it works RAW and JPEG. Oh, something is great. If you get very close to something, automatically it will go in macro mode. You can go get as close as 10 centimeters, okay, not more, but up to 10 centimeters you can do it. You have 6 types of autofocus. I mean, the typical single shot, continue, all this, I mean, 6 type. You can do panoramic picture. It's true that all mobile phones now do it, but this is not a mobile phone. The quality is a lot higher, so it's a brilliant feature in the camera. I know there are other cameras with that, but in this small compact you have this option, okay? You can do multiple exposure. If you want to do like a picture of this and then get all in one picture, it's possible. You have effect filters to change colors, all this, and it's all included in this. Yeah, the camera is brilliant for one thing, for the bracketing. I mean, you can do bracketing on everything. You can do bracketing on white balance. You can do bracketing on dynamic range. You can do bracketing on film types. Let's say you want Provia and Velvia and this and that. Then it does bracketing, then you decide which picture you prefer. Bracketing with the ISO, bracketing with the exposure. You can do plus 1/3, plus minus 1/3, 2/3, and 1 stop, full stop. The camera does time lapse. Let's speak about video. You can do full HD at 60, 50, 30, 25, 24 frames per second. Many people ask me how long the maximum recording time. If you're in full HD, the maximum recording time is 14 minutes before it stops, and then you have to make a new file. And if you're in HD, 720p, it's 27 minutes, okay? You have an application, before I go that, some more about the video. Stabilization is not top. I mean, if you look at the video, it's really crisp, it's really really good quality. You see the picture, the video, and you think you can touch it. Okay, this is great, but the stabilization is not there. I mean, it's true, I'm used to the Olympus EM5 Mark II. It has a 5-axis, brilliant stabilization, but this is really hard to get stable. I think there is a long way, but in that space, I don't know how they could solve it. Although the Fujifilm is really targeting at photography and not that much video, so it's hard to tell them I want more in that budget and that camera. Okay, but the stabilization is not quite there. Okay, the recording button is really a pain to use. I mean, I don't know, all the Fuji have this problem or this decision to make it like this. To press, I really have to get my finger in there, I mean the nail in there, and then to stop the same way. So I was recording and then I thought it was stopped, and then I realized it was not stopped. So if you don't stop in time, that's not a drama. I mean, that's okay, you just record a bit more. The problem is when you want it to start and you don't manage to make it start. And then this is a problem because you may be losing something, okay? And also, there is quite a bit of moire. If you check this, the plane is landing right now, what I'm showing you. You see there's a fence, and then you see it making moire. I know many camera have this problem with video, but this is quite strong problem, okay? A problem, or it depends what you're recording, obviously, okay? And also, the picture I'm showing you right now, the video I'm showing you right now, which is nighttime, I was on 60 frames per second, and the street lights are on 50. So you see there is some flickering. I've seen on other camera the problem is not that strong, but this one is really clearly flickering. There is a wonderful app for your mobile to manage the camera remotely. You also have Wi-Fi and SNS transmission, I mean communication, so you can transmit your file directly from the camera. There is also geotagging. There is something that is really great. There's a small RAW converter inside the camera. It means if you don't use a computer and you have a RAW file and you want to pass it onto JPEG, you can actually do it in the camera. Obviously, it's not that handy as that practical as a full computer screen. But if you're traveling and you want to make everything in RAW and then you pass one onto JPEG so you can send it or whatever, it's possible. The battery keeps up to 330 pictures. It's not that much, but it's quite usual in that kind of camera, compact and mirrorless, and normally don't go over that. There's one thing I really don't like. This is the charger. Now, I mean, you see Nikon, Sony, they all have this problem. They make very small charger, and you must plug it into the camera to charge the battery. And it means that if that day you want to go around and make pictures, you cannot, because the battery is actually charging in the camera. Obviously, you can remove the battery and put another battery in there. So it means you can also buy an extra charger that actually holds battery in it, okay? But I think when you buy about you spend about over $500 on a camera, they could put a proper charger. You actually can remove the battery of your camera and put it in the charger, okay? This is possible, but with an extra cost of a different charger. I'm putting you a small flower, a rose right now, and you see the bouquet is quite nice. I mean, it's creamy, it's not too shaggy, because very often you see some bouquet that's just like this moving. This one is really creamy. I think it's nice. Okay, so what do I think about this camera? Well, I think this is a great camera. Obviously, I mean, for me the only point is who needs that kind of camera, because actually you buy it because you want to use 28 millimeters, typical for street camera or maybe for landscape. But even landscape maybe it's not that large enough, because many people for landscape prefer 24. So I think this is a street camera. What I'm not convinced is to go without a viewfinder. Maybe there is an optional viewfinder like this, but you can't actually find one. You could actually find one, maybe a Leica or a Z1, but it's quite expensive. We could, or Valander, and put it in the flash socket. As you can see, there's a flash socket here. Okay. External flash. There is a flash in there, but you can also put an external one. Okay. So you have the option to go on 35 and 50 millimeter, but I think it's not. I see this digital generated, I think people actually want to use native 28 millimeters. So for me, it's a great camera for street. Although to be like this, it's not handy for me. I think it's not stable enough. Okay, especially because stabilization is not quite there. It's there, but not quite there compared to some other to other cameras. So would I buy that camera? Well, if I did that kind of picture, probably yes. If I was to buy, if I wanted a camera of 28 millimeters with that quality of image, I would probably buy this one. Actually, I don't need that, but if I need it, I would probably buy this one, because I think the quality is great. The pictures are really crisp. It's good quality. Okay, so conclusion. Yes, I give a good note to this camera. Thank you, Photosura, for lending me the camera so I could test it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ericgimbal, my website, ericgimbal.com. If you have any question, you can send me an email to info@ericgimbal.com. My Facebook, facebook.com/ericgimbalphoto, my Instagram, ericgimbal, my Twitter, ericgimbal, my Google++ ericgimbal. Thank you very much. My daughter is just right there, moving the zoom. Then she was there, my small operator today. Thank you very much. Goodbye.